Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
Katrina and I had a good life, a quiet one. We bought this cabin 2 years ago, deep in the mountains, a place where the only sounds were the wind through the pines and the distant call of a loon. Our days were predictable, comfortable. Coffee on the porch, my work in the old study, her pottery in the sunroom. Evenings meant cooking together, reading by the fire. We were happy, truly happy. Then 3 months ago, things started to shift. It was small at first. I was reading and she was sketching. I looked up to comment on something and she was just staring at me. Not lovingly, not playfully. Just staring, her eyes wide, unblinking. Her mouth was curved into a gentle smile, but it felt frozen, fixed. I cleared my throat and her eyes finally blinked, her expression softening back to normal, a slight flush on her cheeks. "Sorry, just admiring you," she said, a little too quickly. I brushed it off, a cute moment, maybe a little awkward. But it kept happening. Sometimes I'd turn around and she'd be standing perfectly still in a doorway, watching me. Her smile would be just a little too wide, her eyes a little too bright. Once I was in the kitchen making dinner, humming along to the radio, when I felt that familiar prickle of being watched. I glanced down and saw her, crouched low behind the counter island, like a child playing a game. Her chin rested on the cool tile, her gaze locked on me, that wide, unblinking smile stretching her lips thin. It wasn't the sweet, genuine smile I loved. It was predatory, a silent, delighted smirk. A cold shiver ran down my spine. "Katrina," I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She didn't move, didn't even breathe, it seemed. I just stared back, transfixed by the sheer unnaturalness of it. After a long, unnerving moment, she slowly, deliberately pushed herself backward on all fours, vanishing from view. I heard the faint scritch-scratch of her nails on the linoleum as she retreated. When I found her later, she was on the couch, flipping through a magazine, perfectly normal, asking if I wanted wine with dinner. I didn't bring it up. I couldn't. How do you describe that without sounding mad? The incidents escalated. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and find her standing at the foot of the bed, facing away, utterly motionless. Or I'd come out of the shower to find her perfectly posed by the living room window, her back to me, head tilted at an odd angle, just observing the dark woods. She rarely spoke during these times, and if she did, her voice sounded strained, a little higher, a little flatter, as if she was consciously mimicking my Katrina. One afternoon, I heard a faint, repetitive tapping sound coming from the small attic crawlspace above our bedroom closet. I called out, "Katrina, what are you doing up there?" No answer. The tapping continued, insistent, methodical. My heart pounded. I grabbed a flashlight and pulled down the access ladder. The air in the crawlspace was stagnant, thick with the smell of old dust and something else, something metallic and faintly sweet. I shined my light into the darkness. There she was, hunched over, facing away from me, her back unnaturally curved, her long dark hair falling over her face. She was meticulously arranging something on a dusty floorboard. The tapping was the sound of her fingernail clicking against tiny objects. As my light hit her, she froze. Her head slowly, unnervingly rotated over her shoulder. Her eyes, wide and black, reflected the flashlight beam, and that smile, it was wider than I'd ever seen it, her jaw seeming to unhinge. On the floorboard in front of her, laid out in neat, chilling rows, were dozens of human teeth. Small ones, large ones, some yellowed, some gleaming white. My stomach lurched. "Katrina, what in God's name?" I choked out. She didn't answer, just kept that grotesque smile, her body trembling with a silent, internal glee. I stumbled backward, pulling the ladder up and slamming the hatch shut. I locked myself in the bathroom and dry heaved. I tried to call her mother, Zelma Inman. I hadn't spoken to Zelma in years, and Katrina never talked about her. The call was brief. When I tried to explain Katrina's behavior, Zelma's voice was cold, distant. "Some things run in the blood, Ryder Jacobs. Some things are too old to be reasoned with. Best not to disturb what lies dormant." She hung up before I could ask what she meant. Her words chilled me to the bone. The next morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to get out. I called my brother, Drew Dalton, who lived a few hours away. I didn't tell him everything, just that Katrina and I had a terrible fight and I needed a place to crash. As I packed a bag, I felt her presence behind me. I turned. She was standing in the doorway of our bedroom, completely naked, her body gaunt, stretched, her ribs visible beneath translucent skin. Her hair hung lank and wet. That smile was wider than ever, eyes fixed on me, unblinking. A low, guttural purr rumbled from her chest. It wasn't my wife. It was a horrifying caricature. "You're leaving," she rasped, her voice a parody of Katrina's, thick with something foreign and wet. I froze, bag half-packed. She took a slow, deliberate step towards me, her smile widening further until I could see the dark, wet cavern of her throat. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then, with a sudden, impossible burst of speed, she lunged. I barely managed to dodge her, feeling the cold brush of her hand on my arm as I scrambled backward, tripping over the rug. I screamed, scrambling up and bolting out the door, down the stairs, and out of the cabin without a second thought. I didn't even look back, just jumped into my truck and sped away, the tires spitting gravel. In my rearview mirror, I caught a glimpse of her standing in the doorway, still naked, still smiling, but now holding something small and white in her outstretched hand. A tooth. I drove straight to Drew's place, not stopping until I was safely in his driveway. Drew and Kaya, bless their hearts, just took me in, no questions asked, assuming it was just a marital spat. I barely slept. Every shadow looked like her. Every creak of the house sounded like her unnatural movements. Early this morning, I was on the couch, staring at the ceiling, trying to calm my racing heart. I felt it again, that familiar sense of being watched. My gaze drifted to the living room window. There she was, or rather it, pressed flat against the glass, her face contorted in that unnerving, joyless grin, her wide eyes staring directly at me through the morning mist. Drool traced a sickening path down the pane. I didn't scream this time. I felt a surge of pure, desperate rage. I pounded on the glass, shouting, "Get away! Leave me alone!" She didn't move, her smile unchanging. Drew and Kaya came rushing downstairs, drawn by my shouts. As they entered the room, the thing at the window slowly, almost imperceptibly, pulled itself back into the mist-shrouded woods, leaving only the two glistening drool trails on the glass. Drew thought I was just stressed, seeing things. I'm in a cheap motel now, an hour's drive from Drew's. I couldn't put them at risk. The police found nothing at the cabin, no sign of Katrina, no strange collections. They just suggested a restraining order, but I know that won't stop it. An hour ago, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. 3 words, "I found you." And an image. It was dark, blurry, but clear enough. A single, wide-open human eye staring directly into the camera. It was Katrina's eye, and it wasn't blinking. I don't know where it is or what it wants, but I know it's still out there and it's still watching. I can feel its smile.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.